Good morning and, well, good evening by my time, and yes, like good afternoon yet in Israel. Um, well, the first topic, before that, this is Hannah Klein's time, and I hope that you download this podcast after listening and also share this podcast with your friends. Um, well, today I would like to start with Ukraine. I don't know if I ever discussed Ukraine on my podcast or not, but I've known actually a Ukrainian woman from 20 years ago, and then, it's not something unfamiliar to me about Ukraine. Yeah, but anyway, it's kind of a hard topic for me. To me, here's the problem. Biden's administration's promise sounded very empty, to be honest. And I am very honestly not pleased with Prime Minister Kishida's speech at the Congress, the U.S. Congress. It was, ridiculous. It was not because of Ukraine, but it was poorly organized. And he really needed to speak about something else, very important. But anyway, one of the reasons I stopped talking about Ukraine is that I get a lot of bots. And also, at the same time, I disagree with a lot of people who are on X, who just throw discussions at me. And, I do check a lot of opinions, of course, but I never talk about anything. And, it's pretty hard for me to see people die in a battlefield in real time. And they're suffering for one of the major reasons is that they don't have enough weapons to fight. Obviously, that is one of the major reasons. And I'm very, very, I don't know, I hate the way Biden dealt with the situation. And a lot of Ukrainians know what was going on. Zelensky might not be a professional politician, but it's at the same time not about him, but on the battlefield. I would rather discuss this because there are also like foreign soldiers, who fought in the Iraq War or wars in Afghanistan, who were deployed there, doing a lot of work in Ukraine. And one of the things that my friend was telling was that they're dying too, which is true. It's not something that I saw on social media, but it's something that my friend told me. And, I cannot talk about this friend, but, yes, he knows a lot about Russian military as well because of his background. But considering what Russian military does, well, like the airstrikes, well, I've known a lot about Syria before. I mean, it's horrible what they do. And don't compare, okay, Russia to Israel. And that's one of the things that concerns me a lot, because Israel has been fired rockets by Hamas so many times, even before October 7th, and Israelis are blamed in the UN. I'm sorry, I cannot accept it. And if people ever disagrees on this and talk about Ukraine and say, I'm sorry for Ukraine, I cannot accept this kind of discussion. I mean, however, Ambassador Yamagami again, he was talking about the illegitimacy of Putin invading Ukraine, which is true. And at the same time, there is a crisis, national security crisis in Japan. And I did not want to talk about it for a while, because it was like, like people were saying, it could be your country, blah, 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 all those things. But you know what? Japan has existed for thousands of years. Again, I'm not comparing Japan to Israel, but Japan has its history from the ancient times as Japan, not as China. And I'm not talking about the security threat that might happen in this tiny region, but I hope if people are really considering to say sorry for Ukraine, then why are they not sorry for the Israelis who are breached the territory just so many times? And like NHK wants to discuss, like, there is a possibility of war crimes of IDF attacking the hospitals. Okay? These hospitals are used as an ammunition depot, and that's why, like, there's second explosions. I mean, why do people not think about this? And I mean, you know what? If you see propaganda and ever think that you're just so sorry and you need to protest, then I think that you have to learn more. And on Thursday, I'm very looking forward to speaking with this commander of the IDF, the former commander. He's retired right now, and he's not going to share the confidential information, but you know what? He is fully qualified and be able to speak clearly what is going on. And he is going to be speaking with me, discussion style, this coming Thursday. So please listen and think before just, see, these anti-Semites, I have to say this, I hate them. I hated them. They have to say this, the words that they want to say over and over, and that's what they do on my social media. Yeah, that's what they have done, especially on Facebook. It was terrible. Like the same person wrote, I hate Israel. Israelis should blah, blah, blah. Over and over and over. And why do I have to waste time to report them in the first place? Okay? Just, I guess, like, these, like, platforms need to improve at some point to just reduce these anti-Semites, like, speaking to, like, those who support Israelis or Israel. I mean, yeah, like, whatever. It's, yeah, and you know what? It's mostly those who support Russia, who support Palestine or Gaza, and say, well, yeah, but there should be one condition to Ukraine, I think that the Trump's offer is very good. I don't know if you have read this, but yeah, Trump is telling that he's going to continue the military support, but instead he is asking for rare earth metals. I mean, this deal the military aid should not be proceeded as Biden was irresponsibly doing. And Kamala Harris, I'm sorry, now I'm going to say aloud, but I don't think that she would have ever made any good decisions on the war, both on Ukraine and on Israel. In case of Israel, it was gonna be like terrible under her command. So I hope that President Trump makes good decisions, and he does. Yeah, he really does. Yeah, today, I guess today it's not exactly the time, but Bibi Netanyahu is going to be speaking with President Trump. Bibi is the first foreign leader to be invited to the United States, which is very exceptional and very nice, because Israel is a very, very close ally of the United States, and Israel has supported the United States in the same way as the United States has supported Israel. I think that, Japan should be showing, in Kishida's speech, I think that he should have shown what kind of effort he could share. Not just, I don't know what he was talking about in the first place, but he should have shown what he could devote, what Japan could devote for the United States. I mean, and also it's a mutual relationship, and at the same time, it's a very, very we have to appreciate the fact that the United States is the great ally under U.S.-Japan alliance. And the ambassador, Rahm Emanuel, he said something terrible about U.S. Steel, by the way. And, I mean, the entire thing is just combined. And what was, Kishida doing for Japan, by the way? Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. And he was You know, Biden was not doing a good thing to Ukraine at all. And, I mean, he is working for that. I mean, he should have expected this change of the. I mean, obviously, many Americans. I expected that many Americans would vote for Trump, President Trump now. For reasons, and now like the media says like this and that is crazy about President Trump. And now I think that, well, I mean, I listened to the discussions in the Japanese diet, and it's pretty much distressing what they're discussing. And I don't know what they're talking about exactly by we have to look for somewhere else besides the United States. See, this is one of the problems that is really, really the start of a real large issue. And see, uncertainty. Like, they start to talk about the uncertainty and start to say, like, like President Trump might change decisions. Well, you know what? We have to show some, friendliness. You know what? This kind of discussion is terrible that is going on. But President Trump, Japan, under any administration, President Trump, under President Trump's leadership, the United States is the best ally to Japan. And I think that is one of the most important facts that we have to understand. Unfortunately, see, people are freaking out at Goncalves at the same time. Like, he's like a monster to people. Like a lot of people. And then, just today, okay. So, this is from Nikkei, February 4th, 2 p.m., updated 2 p.m. U.S. Steel can survive on its own, said Steelworkers Union president. And he also said that Goncalves is the best friend of mine. Well, now I just see the fact that the president of these Steelworkers Union, the labor union, is so corrupt. I mean, I'm not talking about the workers, but he's not thinking of the workers of the steel company. Well, that's the problem that bothers me at the same time. I really, really want to stay away from labor unions. And this Biden's decision was also corrupt because of this. I mean, and Goncalves, he doesn't care about the workers or employees. I just think that, like, these people should be ashamed. And what they're doing is now to agitate. Like, promote the feelings of or impressions against the Japanese corporation among the Americans, that, like, the Japanese are like the aggressors from 1945 or something. This is not something new. This is something that was happening in the late 70s to 80s. And it's not because of President Reagan, of course. I mean, it was because of this type of thing. And Goncalves, I don't know what he is. He doesn't have any pride anymore. But he goes, he walks to the steel workers union and say, like, please tell this to me. I will reward you, blah, blah, blah. Right? Stop this corruption. And also, the entire corruption should stop. Because Biden was corrupt. Biden made corrupt decision. And, and Kamala Harris, she was not for people. Like, I wrote, it's just, it was just what she was saying. And I don't know what else to say on Goncalves besides him being so corrupt, and now I understand that he does anything corrupt to tell people like that I am the right person, right? And he's going to I would say he is going to just crash the actual laborers, and he doesn't care. And the steelworkers also doesn't, the union's president doesn't care either. Now, he sounds very corrupt to me too. And not he sounds, but he is indeed corrupt. Both Goncalves and the president of Steelworkers Union. So the next guest is the former colonel of IDF. He was the colonel during the reserve, and well, he will introduce himself more about his background. He has a PhD in astrophysics. But anyways, I hope that people people become more serious about what is happening in Israel, and just stop talking like, Israel has been committing war crimes, like the Holocaust, over 6 million too many. All these things are the things that anti-Semites make up. And anti-Semitism is something that is sick. And people cannot say that Zionists are evil, but I support Israel. That is not an opinion that can be accepted among Israelis. Basically, the reason is that Zionism is a very core idealism of Israel, and it's not like Hamas. Hamas is the problem. And they were raised by UNRWA. And UNRWA Japan chief is lying now to the public, and he thinks that he can deceive and the entire UN as well. And I don't know why the Japanese are so vulnerable to the visual effect. Just please stop. And I know that there are people who are more objective and trying to see the facts, or there are those who support Israel, of course, in Japan. But I just hope that all these comparisons of Ukraine, being the victim, and Israel, on the other hand, they're like Russians. You know what? Israel has had terrible attacks since Hamas took Gaza. And they won by election. You know what? They cannot lie. And, listen to all these children's opinion on Israel. They were educated at UNRWA school. And once these children are brainwashed, it is very, very hard for children to overcome. Or, rarely or, exceptionally, there are people who understand the situation more and change their effort, their attitude or way of thinkings. But it is very hard for people to do it. And this week, I hope to also invite Palestinian, Scottish. Well, he's half Palestinian, he's half Scottish. He was raised in the United States, I guess. Yes, he's going to share his story with me. But, yeah, I just think that people should consider, like, butchering people alive, decapitating babies alive, slaughtering pregnant women and take out their babies. These people, these things are not acceptable. And I have had terrible just nightmares that I've had over 20 years, the last 20 years, I guess. I just hope that people understand. Well, it's not hope. I just see ICC is political, of course. Bibi is not a war criminal. He's doing what is needed to be done. And of course, former Defense Minister Gallant either. He is not a war criminal either. It's just all these ridiculous discussions and arrest warrants were issued because of the politics. Karim Khan is so corrupt, he should be sanctioned too. And anyone in power who agrees with it should be sanctioned by the United States as well. But by the way, I think that it's about time. Please share this podcast and download. I really appreciate people download because it has been increasing. So please download my podcast and share my podcast with other people. Thank you very much. And good night for Japan. Good morning to the United States. And, good evening in Israel. Anyway, good night.